So I'm stoked to do this. I've been putting this together for like 2 months, and there's probably like 3 or 4 more people jumping in. I don't like to make these huge, um, but the thing is like most people get excited about, like I want to learn novations, I want to learn wholesale, I want to learn to make money, right? But they get like bombarded, they get overloaded with Anthony. I kind of want to wait for Chris. Did he get the link? It doesn't show he's tried yet.
He said that he knows I sent it to him. Or I told him I sent it to his Facebook Messenger. He said okay.
Okay, cool. Whatever. Anyway, and y'all know me, I'm always preaching VAs, build systems, get your time back, this and that. So that's why I put this on. It's going to be recorded. I'm going to send y'all the PowerPoint. I'm going to send you the recording, everything for this. But I'm pretty much I'm opening, being an open book on how I run my company. Like my VAs make me like 6 figures a month. I pay 10 grand a month, full transparency for VAs. Here's Chris right here. Sorry, I'm just letting prove. I think we got everybody. No, just Bronson. That's okay. Chris, can you hear me? Or is that just your note taker? All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna share my screen in a minute, but first off, Brandon, what VAs do you got rolling right now? What are you doing with them?
I just have an EA. She kind of does everything for me right now. We've been talking back and forth constantly about how over leveraged she's been feeling right now. So the next step is basically just to get somebody to help with dispos.
Yeah.
That's kind of the priority of my week. So this is really good. And then I have somebody who just kind of helps me create content and edit videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's
So
yeah, bare minimum right now.
so thing is with like the VAs are gonna say they're overwhelmed. Not saying they're not, but they're gonna say they're overwhelmed. Are you able to track like what
Yeah.
they're okay, you're able to track everything. And she's pretty much like wearing every hat right now,
I
right?
believe she's overwhelmed. She hasn't really said that, but I feel like everything that I've been pushing onto her, there's no way she's not going to be overwhelmed real quick.
Right.
So I'm kind of anticipating that.
Cool. And I'm going to show you all the transition, how that goes from different hires to like release some of that overwhelming. Chris, appreciate you jumping in too, man. Sorry we had a corrupted link. Recap, we've only been talking a couple minutes. I was just telling them I spend about 10 grand a month on VAs. I get a 10x plus return on them. They give me a lot of my time back, which is the most important thing to me. They run everything in my business. I don't have many Americans in my business. They're mostly VAs. I ran a big American company. I had 12 acquisitions reps at one point. All Americans hated it, made a lot of money, but didn't make any money, put golden handcuffs on a lot of people, and I just hated it. Blew that business up, run all VAs, have a lot of time to myself. That's what I want. So that's what I do. So that's what I'm going to show y'all, all the different facets of how I use VAs. And we're going to go back and forth so we have an open discussion. I want to go through y'all first to see where you're at, though, so I know what to target in each one of these sections. All right, cool. Brett, what about you? What are you running right now, VA wise?
I just have my executive assistant where, I mean, again, wearing all the hats. Um, I'd like her to be more involved. Well, really, it's probably my fault a lot of it because I still don't know exactly how to train her, right?
Yeah.
But basically just kind of running the KPI trackers, what marketing sources are good. I got her filling out MLS packets when I do my flat fee type stuff. I got
Yeah.
her filling out forms when I disp over to Chris. He's got like intake forms. Just really all the busy work type of stuff is what I.
Yeah. As you go with that, have her create SOPs too for everything she's doing. All right, just put that in your mind. We're going to go through all this, but have her create SOPs. That way, when you do hire on people, if she doesn't do that, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over. It's kind of defeat the purpose, right? You're gonna be like, damn, I'm just training. Like I might as well just do all this crap myself. So
Yeah.
just have her as she goes, like, oh, you filled out an MLS packet, create an SOP. Oh,
Hmm.
you did this, create an SOP, put it in a training folder. Super
Yeah.
important as you go to make things way easier to scale.
Okay.
Ray, what about you, man? What you got going with VAs right now?
I got my first one starting tomorrow. So just hired her
Awesome.
last week. So she'll be coming on wearing all the hats, doing kind of everything. So
Perfect. You're gonna freak out with how much my EA handles, but I'm gonna show you how I do it, and how to onboard them, how to train them, how to seamlessly do that. That's cool to know. Raul, what about you? Do you got any VAs right now?
No, I don't, but I wanted to jump on here because I wanted to even take this one model and apply it to what I'm doing right now because there's coordinators that all they do is give us jobs, but man, I'm seeing what you're doing, and this can like literally transfer right over there,
Yeah.
and I'd probably blow them out of the water because
Let me
they're
tell you what
just,
I used to do.
those
all
guys
right?
are just so busy.
Yeah.
I don't even want to do it.
So you're just coordinating things right now, like as part of your job, like.
Yeah, well, they coordinate to us, so
Okay.
they're just the one coordinator from the contractor, and then they shoot out the jobs to us, and they take care of all the back and getting paid, all that other stuff like that.
So when I was leaving my oil and gas job, I was making a buku of money. It was my decision to leave. I wanted to just focus on my business. Even though I didn't have to work much, they paid me a crap load of money. It sounds crazy to most people, but I just wanted my time, my peace, right? I was like, look, I'm peacing out. And they're like, whoa, what can we do to keep you? And I was like, nothing. But if you pay me $10,000 a month, I'll keep my phone. And they're like, cool, no problem. I was like, oh, wow. So what I did is I got a VA to handle all the calls. I didn't even do it, right? And then I got to a point to where I had a chat bot. I told them, hey, you can only text this number. And I hooked it up to a chat bot and I had the VA handle all the calls and they would just schedule the jobs. This went on for a long time. And now they're just paying me 10 G's a month for a $4 an hour VA, right? So from what you're saying, it's very possible.
Oh, definitely, because all they do is they get a location from, the contractor. Hey, we need 5 officers at this location, set it up, and then like with the VAs, I can just have the VAs do it and they'll be 24/7. Where in here, all these people are just trying to coordinate and they don't sleep. That's why I've never touched it.
You're going to be way better than them too. Like you're going to outperform everybody is what's funny.
Yeah, and I was just seeing the model that you have going. I was like, man, this thing is translate perfectly to that, and I won't even have to mess with it.
What I want y'all to know too, and to think, is people look at VAs like foreign entities that can't do much. They're people like you and I. Like my team's smarter than me at what they do because I've trained them and that's their sole focus. So they're better than me, right? So like if you just keep in mind, they're people. They need to be trained. They need to be nurtured. They need to be, hey, you did a great job or you did a bad job. This is what we're gonna do. You'll freaking crush this. Just keep that mentality. A lot of people want to like have a plug and play and be like, oh, I hired a VA, they sucked. It's like, well, what'd you do? Like nothing. We just, it doesn't work. You gotta mold them. Anthony, what about you, man?
Hey guys, yeah, zero VAs here. So just here to learn everything I can. If I can, I don't even get a whole lot of time to do things without VAs. So I'm hoping maybe I can get a couple and then grow through organically like with them, and not having to lift everything all at once. So that's why I'm here. So
I got my first VA while I was working a W-2 job. I had no idea what I was doing with them, but I knew I needed more time. I knew I
yeah,
needed more time for my business. I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew that's what I needed.
that's where I am. That's the exact same place I am right now. So thank you.
Yep. Chris, what about you, man? You using any right now?
Yeah, I've got one VA. She's in the Philippines. She does all of my marketing and does some buyer outreach by text. I've tried having her on the phone, and just because of her accent, I didn't like it, and a lot of the buyers couldn't totally understand what she was saying. So she's behind. Well, she's not a VA though.
Okay, cool. Where'd you get her at?
I actually got her years ago through Matt Larson's company, and I was overpaying for her. Eventually, let her go, and then she got let go from the company. Reached out to me, and she was great to work with, so I brought her back at a cheaper rate.
Sweet. Jeff, what about you, man?
Hey guys, I don't have any in place right now. Intention was to bring them on and take on some of the busy work that I have in other businesses. So I'd like to get something in place there and then also get a couple on the phones.
Cool. All right, everybody's pretty much in the same spot. So good deal. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna start this PowerPoint. We'll go back and forth and have questions. And I'm looking forward to doing this with y'all. All right, I was trying to make a new link in a panic, but we got that done. Can y'all see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. All right. First things first, I want to share our tools that we use. We have a full team of VAs. I'm going to take you through my virtual office. But starting out, you need to know there's a lot of tools that are needed and you're going to be paying for with whatever you do. We run a rental company, our own, we property management, we buy, we sell, we wholesale, we do everything in real estate. So they run everything. This is what we use. Go high level, we use Investor Plug, but Go High Level works if you're a whiz and want to do it yourself. Acquisitions has their own pipeline in Investor Plug and our CRM. Dispositions has their own pipeline. You know, they work all their stuff. Property management has their own, so forth. We have our sub accounts for everything, and everything goes through here. It's connected to everything. We use AppFolio. Does anybody own any property in here? Cool. I think you got storage units, right, Jeff? Okay. Anyway, we're all, like, a lot of us are real estate investors in here. If you do end up owning property, it's going to be another thing that's going to take your time if you don't hire a property manager. Most property managers suck. Just saying. So we manage all of our own. I'm a broker too, but Go High Level's hooked up to AppFolio, which manages all of our property. We manage several hundred, and one VA does that, right? The other one sources tenants. So I won't spend too much time on that because you don't have it, but you are real estate investors and you will have some. So it's just something to put in your brain. We have this pretty automated too. I'm automating it even more. Whenever work orders go in, they're going to start sending work orders straight to our vendors that do the work. That's the point we're about to get to. So we don't even do the calls from the tenants. QuickBooks, we have a bookkeeper, which I'm going to go over too, but everything we have is hooked up to QuickBooks. I know, like, this isn't sexy and I'm glad y'all are here, but it's very important in our business, right? To know our numbers and stuff. So bookkeeper code stings every single day. All right. Teams, you know, we use Teams. I'm going to show you. That's my virtual office. You're going to need all this other stuff to, you know, Canva, my EA creates flyers. Property manager creates flyers. Dispo creates flyers, whatever. Zapier connects a lot of this stuff. Grumpy Hair, we just started with them on some website stuff. PropStream is huge for us for, you know, getting comps and all that, which my Dispo girl's so good at using prop. We mostly use that. All right. You're going to get a link for this. I don't have to, you know, I just kind of did a brief overview, but it shows what we use this for, what they do. So I'm going to give you this PowerPoint. That way, you know, you'll have this. We used to use a time tracking app, but let me show you what we do now. Oop, let me let Josh in here. I'm going to share my screen in a minute. All right, so here's my virtual office. All right, we have everything in here. I've got our clock in and clock out. We used to use an app, but it was a pain in the ass. So now we clock in and clock out here, and Mark's my EA, and he keeps track of all this stuff, right? He keeps track of payroll. So, like, I don't want to be involved in payroll. He pays everybody. Ray, what you got?
Yeah, on the clock in, clock out stuff, like how important is that? I mean, I know with a huge team, it's probably more important, but like with one VA, I'm like, you know, part of my concern with bringing a VA on in the first place was like, how am I going to keep her busy to get started?
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's going to be working full time for me. So, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's good to start a precedent. Like, I always think, because they'll get bad habits. If not, even the best people, we're human, right? We
Yeah.
all, like, I don't know if y'all have ever worked a job and you've had your mind elsewhere because you want to make more money, right? It didn't make you a bad person. It's just how we're wired. We want to grow and evolve. They're the same way. The reason I say that is they're going to do the same thing unless
Yeah.
they're held accountable. But that being said, like, I don't want you banging your head against the wall, like, oh, I got to keep track of this and that. But if it's in place, at least they'll think that, hey, he's really monitoring, even if you're not.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
got you.
look at any of this stuff, but they know there's systems in place. They think I am, right? And I do audits. I'll do spot audits. And if I find something, I'll call them out, but I won't look at it every day. I like a system. I mean, Teams is relatively inexpensive, but there's all sorts of like Discords and whatever. Pick what you want. I'm going to show you what I have because that's what I know. I've had this for years. I use Teams and they clock in and out here. We've used all sorts of apps and I'm with you. I'm like, I don't want to see this bull crap. I don't care. But I can go in here and see who's on break, who's in, who's out. They all,
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I guess, yeah, like if I need her for something and she's nowhere to be found, supposed to be on the clock, I guess it makes a lot of sense.
you know, um, which I'll get to, I use Sphere Rocket for hiring some people too. And I've tried this and I didn't like it. They have a virtual Zoom room, everybody's cameras on. I don't like it. I felt like I was like smothering these people.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
want them to want to work for me, not feel like it's a burden.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll share other people's perspective, but I didn't like it. I was like, I can't do that to them. Just clock in and clock out. If you want to work here, great. If you don't, don't. So
Cool.
cool. I think this virtual office is one of the most important things that you can do because it's going to keep everybody accountable, clocking in, clocking out. You'll have chats with everybody, however, whatever that looks like. It doesn't matter. Like, I think, Brett, you're using Slack, right?
Yep. I just started using it.
How's it working? Like, I've never even used Slack.
I mean, it almost kind of looks similar to this. It's
Cool.
just like a different platform where you can have different chats for like acquisitions, dispositions, or like if we need information transferred over, like we can make a separate slot for a deal that we're taking notes on. So
And can you have a deal board and everything else in there?
yeah, yep.
So that works too. Um, you know, this is one of my acquisitions guys. He was just like, hey, we just got a deal signed. Mark's my EA. I have a website guy, Dispo team. So like everything that goes in, Dispo has their own chat, and they're always sending stuff in here. And then like we'll have individual chats and then we'll have group chats. So like the transaction coordinator, Yusuf's an acquisitions guy and Dispo's in here. He might need help. Hey, I thought you asked me. So Dispo's chewing his ass right now. Like, hey, we told you this was too high. Why'd you lock this up? At this price. Um, Whatever. Anime's a bookkeeper of ours, which I'm gonna go into all this. They pay bills, they like analyze deals, whatever, but we're gonna go on all that. Deposits, like they keep track of rents, like, hey, we have, at this one park, we're still owed some money. We have a whole operation here. Like this is what's possible. Like you can keep offloading stuff if you train. So anyway, I wanted to show you that virtual office, but we'll get back to this. Any questions so far? All right, cool. Well, let me stop sharing so I can stop sharing that screen and go back to this PowerPoint. Give me a minute. Damn. I'm just going to start over the PowerPoint. All right, cool. All right. We already went over what does your team look like now. This is kind of what I'm always thinking, and this is why and how I always hire a VA whenever I'm getting bottlenecked at any part of my business, and then I'll train them, right? So like, where are the gaps in your business right now? It's a huge question. Like, where's the bottleneck? Where are the constraints? We are building a business, or whatever it looks like, whatever type of business. So there are constraints. All right, where are those at? That's something for you to think about, but there is a person you can hire for that. And if you want VAs, they can do it. I don't care what it is. Could a VA help with this? What does your day look like right now? You know, I'm a big fan of writing out my perfect day. If y'all have ever talked to me individually, like, what does that look like? You know, it probably doesn't look like doing paperwork all day. I don't know anybody that's going to say that or doing monotonous tasks. So, can y'all think of anything in your business right now? Like a ton of things, probably, right? Who should be your first VA that you hire? An executive assistant. All right. First and foremost, an EA, because that's going to be your right hand. All right. A lot of people go get an acquisitions person, a cold caller, disc, but whatever it is, marketing, social media, they all do this stuff first. But if you get a really good EA, they can actually help you scale your other VAs that you get, your team, your all this other stuff. They're going to help you monitor that and be your right hand. Handles your day to day oversight of, you know, I already told y'all, property management, managing VAs, payroll, repairs. Like they do all of our projects. You know, we have handymen at all these parks we run, like everything, like our wholesale operations. Like Mark sent an assignment last night. You know, he wasn't even on duty, but like they care. It's part of their company and they're all incentivized to do so. I'll show you how I set that up. I did some examples of what my EA handles. Like these are just snips. Like I want to change Brit's flights to whatever Pittsburgh noted. What's the name of the airline? Hooked it up. I want to check if what he's using our card. You know, we have a company card for them, which we use Relay. You can have a company card for any of your employees or however you want to handle that. But Flyer at Innovation Workshop, he gets bonus on any sales that we have on our workshops because we have a lot of different workshops. All right, so he's like really incentivized. This look good. All right, he did all that. Here's some of property management. My daughter's making a big fundraiser, got cancer. What's the balance? Boom, paid. I guess he was telling this person to pay their rent. I don't know. Here's our AppFolio system. He was having them pay their rent. That doesn't mean much to y'all right now. Jeff, it might mean something to you, you know, managing storage. I don't know, unless y'all have that on complete lock. Repairs, you know, on stuff. Doorknobs didn't fit. I don't give a crap. 3-day notices for evictions. Electric company. We just bought a deal. We just bought a hotel. He set up the electric, the gas, the water, hired the realtor, got it listed. I got the link last night. I was like, it's badass, you know? So like all this stuff. Separation of the neutral ground from sub panel. You know what the hell they're talking about. You know, electric, he'll look up to see if people are licensed, put them in our system as vendors. Inspections, he handled inspection with the cities, evictions with the cities, whatever he's scheduling there. How much would EA help in your business? All right, so real quick, did y'all think like any of that kind of stuff's possible with a VA? Like just anybody, like
I was surprised to hear that they could turn on the utilities and things. I
Yeah.
figured you'd have to be state.
nope.
You get all these guys with just a WhatsApp number so that they can like communicate with Centerpoint and stuff like that.
Twilio, I got him a Twilio number for text, and yeah, I got him a Twilio number for text, and yeah, they got a WhatsApp number for calling. Yeah, and a Google number. He's got a Google number that he uses the most, and he uses local area codes to wherever we're at because we buy nationwide. So he'll get numbers for wherever we're at. Yesterday he called from his Google number. The rep calls me and is like, "Hey, I've got your assistant Mark on the other line." They don't even know he's a VA, right? I mean, he's from the Philippines. He's got a thick accent, but he's super professional. You know, and he's like, "Hey, I got your assistant on the other line. He's setting up utilities. Do you give him authorization?" Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, have a, you know, verify your birthday, verify your social. Okay, cool. Good luck. You know, that's it. Right. So everything, anything you could think is possible with them. But I mean, they got to be professional and you know, you got to train them, but it's nice now because like, you know, I've had him for several years and literally it's just like a cakewalk now, but it's constant training. Like I got on his ass last night. What's today? Night before last. First time ever. I'm gonna tell you all the good and the bad. This has never happened. They have logins to my social media and they market all of our properties, get us tenants, everything. Well, now I have to change my SOP because, before I'd have them log in under my stuff forever, years, and they would do that, but they'd never communicate with people, right? Only for business. Well, somebody pissed off Mark, right? And I guess whoever he hired to put a 3-day notice up, because they handle the evictions too. They'll hire local people, whatever. We buy stuff nationwide, they'll rent too. Hey, he'll just go on the Facebook group. Hey, we'll pay you $50 to post some notices or whatever their process is in that state. Well, whoever he hired had a vendetta against the person that was serving the note, or that they served the notice to, and like blasted it on Facebook, the notice. And we're making fun of these people for getting evicted. And he gets upset because he like loves people. He gets upset and forgets he's under my social media, and he's like, hey, why'd you do that? Like nothing bad, but he just starts arguing with this person. It's under my social media, and I'm like, bro, what the hell are you doing? So now I'm like, you can't be under mine, so they created their own work ones. And it's fine, but used to it, I'd be like, hey, it's fine because it worked for years. But, now we're not doing that. So you're going to keep evolving, keep changing, just like any company, any employee. I mean, we're all people at the end of the day. So there's no 100% cure all, fix all. You got to work with people. That's it. Even if you hire an American employee, you're going to be working with them. Brett, like you're scaling with American people right now. You know how much training you're having to do. It's the same thing. So, all right. Yeah, so just think how much that would help you right now. How much time that give you back to make more money. Any questions on that stuff? Cool. How do I find and hire an EA? All right, sourcing companies and Facebook groups. For Mark and a lot of my office staff, I've used Sphere Rocket because they're usually highly educated when they come through them, and that's a good company. But it's pricey to use a company like that, and you always got to pay them. So I'm not pushing one way or the other. I'm gonna show you how to do it both ways because I hire my own acquisitions and dispo. I outsource that. But like admin, I started with Sphere Rocket. Now I know what I'm doing. I probably wouldn't have to use them, and now you'll know what you're doing, so you wouldn't have to use a company. But if you just wanted the easy button, cool, and had more cash than sense, then that's fine. But you could do this yourself if you really wanted to, and I'll show you how. I did put like Sphere Rocket there. If somebody did want an easy button, you'll get this. But pretty much, I'm gonna take you through what they do in their process. It taught me a lot going through a really professional sourcing company because I just implemented all of their practices. Now, whenever we recruit VAs, we go to Facebook groups like these with tons of members. That one has like 50,000. That one has 140,000. We'll do that so we don't have to make posts in all these groups with not a lot of members. I just hired a website guy, an IT department I'm starting, right? And it's pretty cool. But I got him out of this one, and he's really good. He's already built me a pretty badass website. Another one. All right, here's the template. Mark even included me asking him because he wants to boast that he does everything. Hey, Mark, can you send me your template to use in Facebook groups for acquisitions VAs? Or, anyways, it's the same thing. For any kind of hire, you're just going to change what you want. Here's the post that we'll typically use. I think where a lot of people screw up when they go to hire VAs is they're like, hey, I'm looking for whatever, X. And then you get flooded. You get bombarded with all these DMs. You don't even want to handle them. You got to have a filter. And that filter I like to use is, just, hey, send me a picture of your disc assessment and a video of why you'd be a good fit. And if anybody does anything outside of that, I don't consider them. If they can't follow instructions, they're not going to be good at any role that I need them. Anybody have any questions on this part? All right, cool. This is super important, by the way, because you're going to notice it if you don't do this and you go to hire a VA. It's going to be pretty overwhelming. A picture of their disc chart from 123test.com. It is absolutely free, and a video of why they'd be a good fit. All right, here's what the disc chart looks like when they send it to you. All right, so like here, these were actually, we haven't got the acquisitions yet, but I can already tell you what roles these are good for. You know, 69% dominance, y'all know their asses are on the phones, right? So 54%, like this is what I'm looking for. Here's some examples of the videos they send us.
Hi, my name is Floralyn Hepana, and I'm a virtual professional from the city of Smiles in College City, Philippines. I believe I am the ideal candidate for this position because I bring a combination of relevant experience, proven skills, and a deep enthusiasm for the work your company does. Aside from that, I've had experience in working with campaigns such as real estate, wholesaling, and real estate investors, insurances, credit repairs, solars, and cleaning companies. Also, I've been a supplier engagement coordinator of Ascent Compliance in Canada.
I like her. I need to see why we didn't hire her.
She sounds really good.
My name is
She sounded really good, right? I need to see why she's
Yeah.
not on our team right now. Mark does all the hiring too. I don't even do any of this, right? He'll go through the videos.
Oh,
see
wow.
what- yeah, I don't do any, like I outsource everything I can. And then
Mark does all your hiring too.
do what?
Mark
Yeah,
does all your hiring. Your
Yeah, he does
EA
all my
your
hiring too.
Okay.
And with outsourcing, you're going to have bumps in the road and you're going to have to train, but you have to release things to get better, right? If you hold on real tight, it's hard to grow. My coach told me something when at the gym yesterday. We stretched for 30 minutes when we were supposed to be working out. And she's like, hey, like your muscles are trying to grow. If you don't release them more often, you're not going to give them room to grow. It's the same with people. It's the same with building a team. Like you got to give them room to grow. And that's what I do with all my team. And that's why they do so well. You know, I'm actually going to talk to Speed to Lead to see if I could put my VA closer against somebody in a cage match. It's been on my mind. You know, I was like, you pick the closer. That'd be cool as hell. But that's how much faith I have in these people because I spend time in them. I let them screw up. I give them permission and I keep training them. But I do like her. I'm going to see where she's at. This is a dude that works for me right now. He's my newest rep.
Nico Murioka, and I have 4 years experience of customer service, and I learned how to handle tough conversations with customers and also stay organized under pressure and deliver real results. And I'm applying for the dispo calls position because I thrive in fast-paced environments, and I know how to follow systems while keeping things human. And more than anything, I'm a dedicated father, and my biggest motivation is my son and building a better future with my family. And this also drives me to push, to stay focused, consistent, and always go the extra mile. And
Anyway, he just sent an ovation contract yesterday. He just started. You know, I'm sure Mark liked him because he talked about his family and stuff. You know, whatever. But I do have a system to where they have to get through me to come on board, and I'll show you that. Like I don't hire them, but they do have to come through me to come on board. Oops.
Hi, my name is
Nope. All right. Any questions on that?
Do you bring everybody on like full-time right away, or do you like try them off like maybe part-time and then kind of move them to full-time, or just full-time right off the bat?
So I put them full time right off the bat because what I learned is I used to do that. I used to hire people part time, but then I realized they were working part time for a lot of people, and I was getting part of the time, and it was no way to grow or build like people that I wanted in my organization. You know, even if I say like with an EA, like you're not gonna have like a lot for them to do at first until you run through this exercise, which some of y'all, I mean, y'all hear me say it all the time. If you have, you know, write down what you do in a day, which we'll get to. So at first you're like, well, they really don't have a lot to do. I promise you, they have more than they can handle. You just don't know, you don't know it yet, right? But yeah, I bring them on full time. And what is that? Uh, there's a law, and whatever you I don't know, something about expectations and growth. But anyways, if you have the mindset of like, hey, they don't have much to do, they're gonna feel that too. You know, you're a growing company, you have a lot to do. You have a lot of expansion. You know, there's a place for them if they're a good person.